Well, hello, sugars. How's it going? We are back in Colleton County. Or is it Richlands? I don't know exactly where her hearing was today, and I haven't watched it, but unfortunately there's spoilers all over the internet, so I do know she pled. Damn it. God damn it. But I don't know what the outcome of that was. So, guys, there is Becky. And if you can't see, she is a bobblehead. And it says Tampalicious over her head there. Because she is known for tampering with things and tainting things. Miss Becky. But that hasn't been proven yet. We're not sure whether or not there will ever be any charges laid for jury tampering. Because it was very interesting that the prosecutors decided, or Slade decided to not do anything that would make any difference to Alex Murdaugh's chances of a new trial. So she was charged with what's her actual charges? Hang on, let me see. There was perjury, which is really unusual to get charged with perjury. Like, how many people ever get charged with perjury? Very few. Charge of perjury and the charge of messing about with the when she sent the autopsy photos to the press, because that all came out in the evidentiary hearing. Let me just see. I've got it all written out here. 2 seconds, guys. So all her charges, yeah. So 2 counts of misconduct in office, 1 for allegedly using her official position to promote her book, Behind the Doors of Justice, the Murdaugh Murders, for personal financial gain. And the second is unrelated to the Murdaugh trial. Yeah, see, prosecutors were really careful to make sure that Alex Murdaugh's bid for a new trial is not affected by all this stuff that's happening with Beckyboo right now. But between you and me and the rest of the world, I think that Alex Murdaugh's probably going to get a new trial. Probably. I didn't think perjury was even a real thing. You would, considering how rare it is for someone to actually get charged with perjury, yeah, it's almost like it's not a real thing. I'll bring Dali in. Bring Dali in. Hey.
How are you?
Get your Beckyboo voice out.
Ooh, a sweet Southern belle.
A sweet Southern belle. Oh, have you watched this or?
No, not yet. Just the headlines.
Okay, so do we know whether she is being represented by our favorite, Mr. Justin Bamberg?
I don't believe so, unfortunately.
Damn it, because then I would have gotten to play this.
Hot. I'm an esquire. Yes, that was her lawyer at one time.
He's got such pretty hair. I just want to touch
Pretty
it.
boy.
I just want to touch it.
Clip that.
Okay, so that was her lawyer. Justin Bamberg. He's a very good-looking man.
Yes.
By the way, yeah. Hey, Tracy. And he posted that to his own Instagram. So don't be having a go at me for clipping that.
Down.
He took it down?
Well, I think he did.
Whatever.
I mean, we got to it first, but
we got to it first, right? Yeah, and I couldn't play the audio that went with it, but I think it was a Mariah Carey song.
Yeah. Something very masculine.
Very masculine, yeah. So glad we're covering this. Oh, yeah. Let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. Courthouse Becky. Beckyboo. Let's go.
Sugar tea.
You sweet sugar tea. Pretty. Actually, yeah, I've got we'll go with the right-hand view. So, yeah, that one. So we can see Tampalicious Becky down there.
I didn't.
All right. You see.
Irish.
Oh, she's so pretty.
Oh, ooh, someone got the hair did.
Yes, sir,
She
Your
got
Honor.
a
We're here
no
today
out.
on State versus Mary Rebecca Hill. I've got the indictments and sentence sheets prepared for Your Honor, along with a waiver from Richland County and a waiver also from Colleton County. There's 4 separate charges. 3 of them come out of Colleton County. There's 2 misconducts in office. Those be indictments 2025 GS 15, 289 and 290. For the record, Your Honor, those were indicted under the common law, but we've agreed to proceed on the statute. They're both misdemeanors. And so technically, those be waivers. And then the obstruction of justice, that's also out of Colleton County, that's a 10-year misdemeanor. And then the perjury out of Richland County, that's a 5-year felony. Now, other than what I've just mentioned, there's been no other deals, there's no recommendations, no negotiations as to sentence.
Okay. All right, Mr. Clerk, will you please swear in Ms. Hill?
Oh, Miss Hill, let's go.
Raise your right
Uh-oh.
hand. Place your left hand on the Bible. State your name, please.
She's able to do that?
You solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth in the court today. So you got it.
Expected her to shriek out
Your
in
full
pain.
name, spell your last words.
Mary Rebecca Hill, Hill.
All right, Mr. Lewis, have you explained the nature and elements of the charges, potential punishment, as well as Ms. Hill's constitutional rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And have you explained to her right to have these cases submitted to the Richland County and Colleton County grand juries?
I have not.
Do you believe she understands the charges, potential punishment, as well as her rights?
I do not.
And have you discussed with her her right to have the Richland County case heard in Richland County and the Colleton County cases heard in Colleton County?
Yes, Your Honor, we waive jurisdiction.
Okay, so I'm going to have it heard here in Colleton County.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you Ms. Hill,
Yes, sir.
how old are you?
58,
How far did you go to
Years
school?
young.
high school.
She doesn't look a day over 57.
What do you do for a living?
Now I'm currently retired.
Married?
Yes, sir.
I mean, you have any children?
I have 2 children.
You suffer from any physical or mental condition that will prevent you from understanding what we're doing today.
No, Your Honor.
You consume any alcohol, drugs, drug
Dishonesty.
You really understand what we're doing today.
No, Your Honor.
You understand this plea is taking place here in Colleton County, and you have the right to have both of the, or 3 of the charges heard in Colleton County and 1 heard in Richland County.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're going to waive that, and you won't get it here today.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you enter
But
a
they're all
guilty
there.
plea, you give up important constitutional rights. Those include your right to remain silent, not be compelled to testify against yourself. You also have a right to a jury trial where the state would have to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. In the event you exercise your right to a trial, you have the right to have Mr. Lewis cross-examine and confront witnesses against you and compel witnesses to appear and testify on your behalf. You also have the right to
It was
have.
interesting. Like, I usually speed up. I was on 1.25, right? I usually speed up South Carolina
I know.
hearings by 1.5 at least because they talk so slow. They talk like this. This
Guy's
is the
like-
fastest talking South Carolina judge I've ever heard in my life. Well,
A
any South
knockout.
Carolinian.
Well, yeah.
Sorry?
Couldn't- Probably isn't from South Carolina, so.
Yeah, maybe he's from out of town.
3 of the charges presented to the Colleton County grand jury, 1 of them presented to the Richland County grand jury, where in each of those cases, 12 of 18 grand jurors will determine whether or not the case goes forward. Finally, you have a right to present certain defenses, which you waive or give up when you plead guilty. You understand all those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand the rights I've explained to you? Do you wish to plead guilty and give up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're pleading guilty to 2 counts of misconduct in office, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Hubbard's range is not on here.
It's 1 year and a fine of up to $1,000. I apologize, Your Honor.
Okay.
I did not put that on any of the sentence sheets.
And the obstruction of justice,
Carries up to 10 years.
up to 10.
Oh, up to 10
And,
years.
perjury is 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Ms. Hill, you understand the potential sentences in each of those cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you fully understand the nature of the charges against you and the range of possible punishment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the manner in which Mr. Lewis has advised and represented you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had the opportunity to review all the evidence against you and discuss it with Mr. Lewis?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you need any more time to speak with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
You believe he's done everything for you that he could or should have done?
Yes, Your
Are
Honor.
you completely satisfied with his services?
Yes.
Has anybody promised you anything or threatened you in any manner to get you to plead guilty here today?
No, Your Honor.
You understand you got 10 days from today's date to appeal your guilty plea and my sentence.
Yes,
Look
Your
at
Honor.
look! Is that Lauren Matthias back there?
I love that they put up a Christmas tree.
I've never seen a Christmas tree in a
Uh-uh.
courtroom before.
Oh, it is South Carolina, so
This is new. How festive!
yeah.
Because we want to celebrate the Lord.
Yeah, none of
Lord.
that menorah Jew stuff in this courtroom. We're a Christian state.
We're a Christian state, and also we want to be festive whilst we
Yeah.
are, putting people behind bars.
Absolutely.
Understanding the nature of
Separating
the
them from
charges
the
and the
family.
consequences of a guilty plea, how do you plead here today?
I plead guilty, Your
To
Honor.
all 4 charges?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about it, Ms. Colleton.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Honor. And I'd like to begin, if I would, explain why I'm here. This was an Attorney General's case. This is not a conflict case, but Attorney General Alan Wilson wanted to bring me in as a fresh set of eyes, let me go to my prosecution team, gave me the benefit of Ben Appleton, one of his appellate lawyers. But I do have the letter where he designated me to handle this case with my team.
Why is the Attorney General involved?
Well, don't worry. Sled investigated.
Slade.
Sled.
Remember how the Attorney General was like at Alex Murdaugh's trial for
Mhm.
most of it? It's like, why? Why do you have the Attorney General there the whole time? And now he's getting involved in little Miss Bloody Becky's tiny little perjury charge and misconduct charges.
Right?
This all just seems a little bit small for the Attorney General to get involved in. Or am I just like a misguided Australian?
Well,
Dated July 10th of 2024. I'd like to make that a court exhibit.
And I guess maybe we should explain as well why I'm here. I was appointed by the Chief Justice with exclusive jurisdiction over this case to hear it anywhere in the state because by Chief Justice Kittredge's order. So I guess that would explain that as well.
Go ahead. And thank you for having us here, Your Honor. I mean, for us, and talking about the defense, it wasn't important where we handled this, just as long as it was handled. But, Your Honor, the authority given to me specifically, both in the letter and vocally to me, was for me to lead my team and for me to make that decision whether there's anything to prosecute, if there was, to proceed on it. I had carte blanche authority to proceed as I saw fit. So the team.
Is that Barack Obama? Looks a bit like him.
kind of.
Maybe it's like a cousin or something.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I had my deputy solicitor, Suzanne Mays, who's got 30 plus years in, Bruce Norton from my office, an assistant solicitor. And again, I mentioned Ben Appleton at the AG's office. And frankly, I'd love to have an appellate lawyer on every case I prosecute. So it's been great having him. And I got my staff. I've got Lauren Biggs staff, who's my paralegal, and I've had 2 investigators on this case.
Oh, is that Liz?
I've got Jane Sully-Sullivan and John Bishop from my office. So this was a collaborative effort. This is how we approach our cases.
Is this the Oscars? What the hell's going on? Why is he thanking everybody?
Good Lord. Well, they had to work really hard figuring out how to try to preserve Murdaugh's conviction.
This is a court hearing. Why is he thanking his team? It's a
Yeah.
serious question. Why is he thanking his team? What's this? How is this relevant?
Well,
What the hell is this? Why? What is happening? I don't understand. Why is he thanking people? Like this is the kind of thing that you keep for a press conference afterwards. And also, P.S. she completely incriminated herself at the
Mhm.
evidentiary hearing in January of
Mhm.
2024.
Yep.
They didn't have to do much work, right? So, oh, thank you to my team.
Well,
And
they had
now
to figure out how they could save Becky from imploding their case.
That's true. That's true. But she sat in front of Judge Toll in January of 2024, and she committed perjury very clearly.
Oh yeah.
Right? It was all of us. We just sat there and watched her commit perjury.
Yep.
Right? And also, Judge Toll is the one who exposed her for the misconduct by questioning her about the evidence that she sent to the newscasters in Japan, actually. The sealed autopsy photos.
Very dishonorable.
Yeah. So Judge Toll should be thanked, actually. Because she did the investigative work. She got Becky Hill to testify about that on the stand. So that could all be used against her if Becky Hill had not have pled guilty.
Yep.
So what do you need to thank all these dudes for? This was not exactly a whodunit. This is ridiculous.
Our goal was to simply look through the massive investigation that was conducted here and to see what, if anything, rose to the level of crime. And if something did, could we prosecute it successfully and prove it beyond a reasonable doubt? There's two separate investigations, generally speaking. There was SLED, but also the State Ethics Commission. Each independently had investigations into Ms. Hill's conduct. Those investigations overlapped to some extent. The ethics investigation began July of 2023. Two separate complaints came in concerning Ms. Hill about potential misconduct during her tenure as clerk of court. These investigations by the Ethics Commission uncovered what they believe to be numerous instances of ethical violations. And our job is to review those findings and see what, if anything, rose to the level of a criminal offense. The SLED investigation began January 5th of 2024 into potential criminal misconduct, again, from Ms. Hill, involving both money matters, but also issues arising out of the trial of State versus Murdaugh. What we did is we met with all of the SLED investigators and with the investigators from the State Ethics Commission. We reviewed all their reports, including their interviews, the audio interviews, their video interviews. In some instances, we asked for additional information so we could have some clarity on issues.
Why does he look constipated?
What appears to rise to the level of a crime, and can we prove it in a court of law beyond reasonable doubt? I'm a firm believer that if I can't prove something in court, I'm wasting my time bringing a charge. Our review resulted in 4 separate charges, the ones that are before you: 2 counts of misconduct in office, an obstruction of justice, and a perjury charge. Beginning with the first misconduct in office, which is indictment 289. That deals with money and, frankly, Title 4D money and some other county money out of Colleton County, and where Ms. Hill gave herself bonuses. As you know, Title 4D money is a federal program, and it's created to help families give assistance with child support. It has an enforcement mechanism where a clerk of court can augment the salary for employees for that enforcement process. And technically, it's supposed to be, you give them a percentage of money based on the percentage of work. The money she was providing was styled as a bonus. I didn't have an issue with that.
Okay, so this is the stuff he should be saying. These are just the facts of the case, right? Everything else leading up has just been self-congratulatory bullshit.
But the issue we did have is that she gave herself this money as well. And, Your Honor, we believe that as an elected official, you cannot augment your salary. It goes directly to the statute that she's indicted under and to the common law as well. You cannot monetarily benefit from your elected position. And so over a period of September 1st, 2021 through March 5th of 2024, she awarded herself a total of $9,880 in bonuses in Title 4D money. In addition, she awarded herself $2,000 in bonus money from her clerk fund, her Colleton County Clerk of Court's office funds. We believe all that was inappropriate because that augmented her salary. The total restitution for that is $11,880. And I'm talking to the defense, they do have a check prepared today to pay that amount back. And it's to Colleton County. Colleton County will then put it in the proper accounts. As to the other misconduct charge, June 7th of 2023, Ms. Hill used her official position as clerk of court to promote her book, Behind the Doors of Justice, The Murdaugh Murders. She filmed a video promoting her book in her office.
Oh, dear. Oh, Becky.
Oh, Becky.
Oh, Becky.
Was
Oh,
that wrong?
behind the doors of justice. Was that wrong?
I'm just a simple South Carolina girl.
I didn't know.
That fast talking Neil Gordon did me dirty.
It was all Neil's fault. And he should be the one sitting here.
Mhm.
I'm here taking responsibility.
With her nameplate, clerk of court, she clearly used the trappings of her office in this video to promote her book. There was one purpose of the video: to sell books. The video was then published through the Walterboro Chamber of Commerce's official YouTube channel to put that information out there to advertise her book. Again, the theory
it's
behind
unlisted.
this is the same as the first misconduct charge, that she was using her office to
Your
make
stream's
money,
unlisted.
and you can't do that.
No.
Those both charges arose initially out of the State Ethics Commission's investigations. There was overlap with the SLED investigations. Turning to the
Yikes,
SLED
yeah.
investigations, the primary one that we ended up focusing on was what we've now got as obstruction of justice, which is the 10-year misdemeanor charge under the common law. While serving as clerk of court during the trial of State v. Murdaugh, she provided unauthorized individuals with access to sealed exhibits in violation of a written order from the judge, Judge Newman, but also is in violation of her duties as clerk of court. Specifically,
Nice.
January 14th of 2024, SLED was advised that there were several graphic crime scene photos that were designated as sealed exhibits during that trial, and they had been released improperly. SLED also received photos of text messages containing pictures of these sealed exhibits. The contents of the photos indicated they had been taken inside the Colleton County Courthouse. The investigation established that the photographs of the sealed exhibits were posted on Twitter after a member of the media shared photos with a personal acquaintance. The metadata of those photos, as Your Honor knows, in the digital age, you don't just have a photo, but we can tell where it was made, when it was made. The metadata from the pictures of the sealed exhibits showed the photographs were taken on February the 28th, 2023 at 7:49 p.m. inside the Colleton County Courthouse during the trial of State versus Murdaugh. In fact, it was after hours, so there was no business going on at the courthouse. The security card and access log showed that this field security card was the one that allowed access to the secured area where the photographs were taken, and that access card shows she was there from 7:46 p.m. to 8:06 p.m. So it puts her there at the time these sealed exhibits were photographed, and these same photographs were then placed on Twitter and shared with others. An interview with a member of the media who admitted being present at the time acknowledged that Ms. Hill provided multiple members of the media with unrestricted access to evidence from the Murdaugh trial, including those sealed exhibits. Obviously, these were photos that the jury was going to see or had, were presented in court, but the judge was obviously very concerned about the public seeing them and any type of influence that it might have on the jury. There's nothing in the investigation that shows that any juror members were affected by this. Obviously, it's a serious charge, violated a judge order, but also it threatened the integrity of the trial itself. The perjury charge arose much later. That's a 5-year felony. January 29th of 2024, Ms. Hill was called to testify in a hearing before former Chief Justice Jean Toll regarding allegations of improper jury contact during the Murdaugh trial. While being questioned under oath, there was an issue of some photos that were sealed that improperly got out into the public. It turned out that those had not been sealed. It was a mistake. But what Justice Toll did is she then questioned Ms. Hill specifically about those sealed exhibits. She asked, quote, "Did you ever allow anyone from the press to view the sealed exhibits?" And this is under oath, and Ms. Hill's response was no, ma'am. Later during the same line of questioning, Judge Toll asked, quote, "Were any press people ever allowed to view exhibits, even the sealed exhibits that you had on file?" And again, Ms. Hill's answer under oath was no, ma'am. That constitutes perjury, and that's the basis for that charge, Your Honor. These investigations covered a wide variety of actions, and a number of them that we looked at, but we didn't believe we had enough evidence to proceed on, including allegations of wiretapping. The court may know that Ms. Hill's son, Jeffrey Hill, right now has pending charges for wiretapping. He served as the IT director for Colleton County.
I forgot about that.
So when they were investigating that complaint,
They still haven't finished that.
Wow.
I suppose Fitz News would have reported on it if her son had have gone through the trial or anything like that. So that's been like a year.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm kind of surprised. I wonder if it will go to trial.
Okay, so guys, so you know, I didn't know what I was doing with this stream. I kept it unlisted yesterday because I
Yeah.
didn't know whether or not we'd run it today because we had body cam to run for Lauren, right? Loza. And so I had it unlisted, and then I changed the time of it so that it would be at like 7:15 straight after the Lauren stream. But when I changed the time of it, I didn't change it back to being public. So I redirected from the Lauren stream to here, and it seems like some people got redirected over.
Yeah.
But when it's unlisted, it's still able to be seen. Like you can still get to it if you have the link, right? But if you don't have the link, you can't see it. And it doesn't look like I'm live. But we were live for the last 20 minutes, right? So I'm really sorry, people who are coming in, that we've already started. See, this is time zone problems because I'm not awake when this is happening, so I can't tell whether or not like I can run this thing because if it had gone for 2 hours, I wouldn't have been able to run this today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were expecting
yeah.
to go for like 10 minutes just to be a quick hearing. And then we find out,
Yeah.
no, she's pleading and being sentenced and it's everything.
Yeah.
God damn it.
And so like here I am trying, like when I wake up this morning going, oh, like it's only a half-hour hearing. Yeah, we can do this. And so I quickly changed the time of it and stuff. And I posted about it and I put the link in the post, which means you can get to it from the link in the post as well, right? Time zone, streamer problems. I'm an idiot. Got too much going on. I'm sorry. Anyway, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. She's pleading guilty. I think you probably all know that already. I know.
This is a miscarriage of justice. The biggest miscarriage of justice since OJ.
Becky, we wanted to see you go through a trial, for God's sake.
I would have given anything to see her testify again.
Yeah. One thing though, assuming that Alex ends up going to trial again,
yeah,
right, and his appeal is upheld, then it's possible that she could be charged with jury tampering then. Because at the moment they're avoiding charging her with jury tampering because that would impact on his appeal.
Wow.
Yeah. They can't charge her with jury tampering right now.
Assholes.
Yeah. But if his appeal goes through, then there's nothing to lose anymore. You could then absolutely charge her with jury tampering.
I mean, they're doing everything in their power to make sure he does not get a new trial.
Yeah, at the moment. But if he does get a new trial, there's nothing to lose, is what I'm saying.
Unless that was part of her plea deal.
What?
That they won't charge her for anything else.
Maybe.
I don't know. We can ask
Ben
or Fitz.
SLED is also looking at Ms. Hill to see if she was part of that wiretapping. This was back in 2023, as I said. Ms. Hill, being subject to that investigation, there was never evidence that she had knowledge. That's something I would have to proceed forward. It appeared clear that she had information from her son that we know he gleaned from wiretapping. But we had no evidence to link her and show knowledge of wiretapping. And Your Honor knows that would be a fatal charge. There would be a direct verdict. If I did indict and try to proceed, I could not prove that. The other issue we looked at was improper jury contact, which was the basis of Justice Hull's hearing. Of course, our standard of review is very different from the one the court will take. For us, we were looking at, did it actually take place that rose to the level of crime? And if there was action there, could we prove it beyond a reasonable doubt?
Ooh.
It's the way we approach everything. That's what we do as prosecutors. Specifically, there were three jurors who alleged this improper contact.
Wait. So they did look into this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You'll love this part.
Oh, okay.
I'll just refer to them by numbers because right now, the only person I'm focused on and the authority I have to focus on is Ms. Hill. But juror number 630, who actually served on the jury and rendered a verdict on that case, was one of those. Juror 785, who was removed by Judge Newman during the course of the trial before deliberations. He removed her for the purpose of improperly discussing the case with others before the deliberation began. And the final juror.
Juror 785. Hang on a moment. Let me just show you this book. Juror 785, because enough is enough. She was the egg lady, and I might have done the cover artwork
Yes.
for this book by Juror 785, The Egg Lady, by Crime and Cask. Yes. So this is the tell-all book.
Yep.
Yes. You can get it on Amazon.
Yes.
Anyway, back to where we were.
That brought allegations, juror 741, who served as an alternate and did not participate in the verdict. These three jurors, particularly 785 and 630, have given multiple and different accounts of Ms. Hill's conduct. All of them have their own variation of what they say happened, and all of them, at least in post-interviews, specifically 785 and 630, have changed somewhat in what they have said. None of them brought these issues up before the court at the time. This information came out after defense attorneys for Mr. Murdaugh were looking and talking to jurors, nothing improper on their part, they have a right to do that, just at various issues they were looking at. These inconsistencies that we have, particularly we have affidavits, but like one affidavit from 630 says her vote, the pressure she felt was from other jurors. She makes allegations about Ms. Hill's conduct, but her vote was basically the pressure she felt from other jurors. That has since changed. As Your Honor knows, if I were to prosecute this case, all three of these jurors would be my key witnesses, and the inconsistencies would be insurmountable if I proceeded forward. In addition, what SLED did is they interviewed the remaining 11 jurors. None of them corroborate these three jurors. One juror out of that whole bunch said something about, Ms. Hill said something about the defendant's demeanor. But in his statement to SLED, he said, I didn't know what she was talking about. My vote was my vote. It was based on the evidence.
She should never have said anything about the defendant's demeanor. Let's just be bloody well clear about that, right? See, he's talking about the 11 other jurors, the ones who defend Miss Hill. And one of them said that she said something about his demeanor.
Yeah.
Lady, you're the clerk of court. You should be getting them lunch.
And ordering the Taj Mahals.
I knew you were going to bring up the Taj Mahals. I knew it. You can never talk about Becky Hill without bringing up the damn Taj Mahals.
I wonder if they brought him out for this hearing.
All right, you can get the Taj Mahals website out, and we can explain what the Taj Mahals are. All right.
So there was nothing to really go on with that juror. Otherwise, all of them denied everything that was said in the back room by Ms. Hill. Many of them said she was very professional when she was back there, and she only talked about the things that were the judge had sent her back there to talk about. So I would be facing a trial with 11 witnesses on a jury coming in to say everything the state is saying is not true. In addition, Your Honor, when Justice Toll had her hearing in Columbia on jury misconduct or Ms. Hill's improper conduct with the jurors, she also interviewed each of those 11 jurors under oath. And again, they all reiterated that they didn't hear anything and that it didn't affect their vote. The court has a different standard, obviously, and I know there's appellate issues.
Okay, yeah. So they didn't hear anything that affected their vote, but doesn't mean they didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
As we just heard. Her talking about the defendant's demeanor is out of order. That's misconduct. Might not be jury tampering in terms of beyond a reasonable doubt that they can prove, but it's misconduct.
Murdaugh, that's not my concern. My only and sole concern was what evidence do we have, and then can't I prove it in a court of law beyond reasonable doubt? And the answer is, frankly, I don't know that I have enough based on what we have to even get an indictment, but I do know this based on my 35 years experience and the collective experience of the team we have, we cannot get a conviction because we cannot prove that case beyond a reasonable doubt. Your Honor, those are the major issues we looked at. As Ms. Hill pleads today, she has no record. Again, other than the misconduct charges being from common law to statute, there are no recommendations or negotiations as to the sentence.
Ms. Hill, do you substantially agree with the facts that the solicitor just told me?
Yes, Your Honor.
I find there's a substantial factual basis for the decision to plead guilty. I find that her decision to plead guilty is freely, voluntarily, and knowingly made. Ms. Hill understands she's giving up important constitutional rights by pleading guilty, and she has had advice and counsel from a competent attorney with whom she says she's satisfied. Mr. Lewis.
Yes, Your Honor. I do want to address just a couple of things regarding sentencing. And I know Your Honor is familiar with everything that's laid out by Solicitor Hubbard. First and foremost, Ms. Hill's coming here accepting responsibility from day one. I think Solicitor Hubbard and the Attorney General would agree all of those investigations that were discussed from day one, Ms. Hill's cooperated. And in every courtroom that I've been in, cooperation was also a benefit for the defendant. But I would be remiss if I did not talk about what Ms. Hill is not pleading guilty to. Okay, Solicitor Hubbard hit this a little bit, but frankly, for the benefit of a lot of people watching, for the last few years, the allegations about Ms. Hill, whether it be jury tampering or wiretapping, that's not why we're here. That is not for consideration for Your Honor, and that is not what she's accepting responsibility for. She's accepting responsibility for what she did, and it was serious crimes and serious misconduct, and that's why she's here. But when we get rid of the noise surrounding this, we actually look at the conduct in front of Your Honor, and Your Honor, I'm a product of federal court predominantly. That's kind of how I think about these sentencing issues. And I think about the three goals of sentencing, that when someone's sitting you and what you're doing, it's specific deterrence to prevent her from reoffending, general deterrence, someone else sees this, we don't want them to do it, and then full justice for the victims. And when I look at that framework for Ms. Hill, well, there is truly no one who can come in this courtroom and say that Ms. Hill, 58-year-old grandmother, a mother, has been employed her whole life, helps almost every single day in front of her special needs grandchildren, taught herself sign language to help people, including her goddaughter.
Oh my God.
Served her community and continues to do up to today, is at any risk of reoffending. And the fact that she has agreed from day one to
Let's
accept.
just see. Could she possibly be reoffending because she needed to be clerk of court?
Yeah, she just have to run for office again.
Yeah. I
She's
think
almost old enough to run for president, but I don't see her being clerk of court again.
chances of reoffending, as in abusing her clerk of court status.
Yeah. Oh, she's retired.
Is she likely to be called as a witness and perjure herself?
Well, that could happen.
Maybe. It could happen. But anyone could be called as a witness and perjure themselves again. So, don't know. Hey, did you want to show us do you have the
Oh, no, I could not find it.
You couldn't find it?
No.
All right. Did you want to go?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I probably should.
That's all right. You're fading. You're going to fall asleep.
I am.
That's
I'll be in
all right.
chat.
Three streams in one day. It's too much.
I know.
For you.
It is.
No,
I'm a
pushing you
delicate
too
little
hard.
flower.
Delicate flower. Okay, see ya.
Bye.
I'm going to move myself around. There we go. All right, there we go. Let's keep going.
Perjury counts as a felony. She's literally logically prohibited from creating misconduct in office again. She can't legally do it. So the risk of reoffense, at least as for Ms. Hill, is non-existent, regardless of all respect, regardless of your sentence. If I think about general deterrence, I don't think anyone who's watched the saga that Ms. Hill has gone through over the last couple of years would think this is a good idea. I mean, a lot of times we think about collateral consequences in this circumstance. She's lost her life. She's given up her position. She faces shame every day. I mean, she's frankly on home detention right now in her own community, just trying to avoid the hoopla that's going on surrounding Ms. Hill. I don't think anyone in their right mind would think this is worth it. On top of that, Your Honor, for the last consideration, full justice to the victim, the only victim that has been named is Colleton County. And before she pled guilty, Ms. Hill has given a check for full rest.
No, that's not quite true. Alex Murdaugh was convicted, and he may have been convicted because she tampered with the jury. We're not sure about that. It's possible, and the South Carolina Supreme Court will decide whether the conviction would have stood regardless of her meddling. But if they do decide to vacate his convictions, and I mean his convictions for the murder of his wife and son, then there is another victim, and it would be Alex Murdaugh being convicted for those murders. Not for financial crimes, he admitted to those. But hey, that's not what we're here for.
For every single dime that she has, any monetary benefit for any of these alleged schemes, she is paying back. And that is her trying to right the wrongs before her. So when we look at it from those circumstances, Your Honor, if we're thinking about, a punishment that is sufficient but not greater than necessary to achieve those goals, a non-custodial sentence is the only reasonable sentence. The last thing that I will touch on before Ms. Hill speaks to you is we always try to avoid sentencing disparities in these circumstances. Unfortunately, in South Carolina, at least recently, we do have a history of Attorney General prosecutions, former public officials involving misconduct in office. And when I look at prior sentences involving misconduct in office, involving significantly more money, taken over a longer period of time, with more repeated conduct than what we have here, just these limited bonuses, we have non-custodial sentences. I even ran the federal sentencing guidelines because I couldn't find a perjury prosecution sentence. Fully, Your Honor, I couldn't find one from state statistics. And I ran it under the guidelines, which I know from your prior experience you're familiar with. That's base level 14, 3 levels down to 11. That's a split sentence, non-custodial, even in federal. So if we're looking at similar sentences given.
Oh, Your Honor, no one ever gets put away for perjury. No one ever does. Come on, I couldn't find anything.
Crimes for someone with no criminal history like Ms. Hill, frankly, there isn't precedent unless they know something otherwise. I don't think they do for a custodial sentence in this case, Your Honor, at least from a sentencing disparity. And the last thing I'll say before you hear from Ms. Hill, Your Honor, is she's going to get a short statement. And I've been on the other side of hearing these statements. I've observed a lot of sentencings. I've been here where you hear I'm sorry, and you hear I'm ashamed, and you hear I'm going to do better. And a lot of times, I think those statements fall on deaf ears because the person making them can't support it. It's just something said after I get called. That is not the circumstance that we have with Ms. Hill. We have support. She's trying to make things better. She literally is paying back every dollar she owes. Since day one, she's been approached with this. She has cooperated. She has done what she's supposed to do. This does not minimize her crimes, but in the context of committing who she is as a person and what she's going to do, she's doing the right steps. So when you do hear this say from Ms. Hill, I hope that you see the support behind it. And we do ask for any non-custodial sentence within your discretion, whether that be probation, home detention, anything else. But we do feel that a custodial sentence in this case would result in a sentencing disparity unwarranted by the circumstances, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Hill.
Your Honor, I want to say that I am truly sorry,
Oh,
and I do take full responsibility for my actions. And I know that I have let down this court, my community, and the people that put their trust in me. There is no excuse for my mistakes. I am ashamed of them, and I will carry that shame with me for the rest of my life. I have already begun the hard work of rebuilding the relationships that I damaged by accepting responsibility, by seeking forgiveness from those that I love, and by repaying any improper bonus I received. I am committed to making amends, to being honest, and to living in a way that reflects the values that I failed to uphold. Your Honor, I respectfully ask for the opportunity to continue supporting my family and to work every day to rebuild the trust that I have broken.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else?
No, Your Honor, nothing. Thanks.
All right. Anything else from state?
No, sir, Your Honor.
yeah. That was a bit lame. Really? That's all you got to say for yourself, lady? You wrote a book, for God's sake. You can't say anything more? Remember the plagiarism? Do you remember the plagiarism? Ah, that's right. Maybe you can't think of anything to say because you have to go and steal it from somebody else. Uh-huh. Right, Keith.
Mrs. Lewis, does she have any time served?
No, Your Honor, she was there for about 8 hours.
That's a day.
Hmm.
All
8 hours.
I've certainly taken in what all has been presented here today, and I can tell you, Ms. Hill, had Mr. Hubbard's team uncovered any sort of jury tampering, there would be a much different sentence here today. There's probably nothing more sacred in our system than.
Oh, please. Okay. Well, you know what? That's because there's a different standard of evidence there. But wait until the South Carolina Supreme Court decides whether or not there's been any jury tampering going on, because different standard of evidence, they're going to go with their standard, and if they find that there was any impropriety whatsoever, they're going to give a new trial to Alex Murdaugh. And sounds to me like she can't be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a very high standard. Yes, but for Alex's right to a fair trial to have been violated, that's a different standard. And it's looking right now that by the Supreme Court standard that he is likely to be found to have had his rights violated. So it's because of the fact that not just the jurors had their minds changed, but they were influenced. Two different things, changed or influenced. If they were influenced, then the Supreme Court are likely to give him a new trial. Justice Toll in the state court decided that he didn't need a new trial or wasn't going to get a new trial because of the fact that their minds weren't changed, but influenced, different thing. And that's why they can't prove jury tampering beyond a reasonable doubt for her. But she might not go down for it, but Alex Murdaugh very well and most likely will get a new trial.
And had their, and I've known Mr. Hubbard since his hair was dark and I had some hair. So if his team, and I know both the lawyers on his team, and if they tell me at least they couldn't prove it, then that's enough for me. I'm sure you have, and I know you've been humiliated throughout this whole ordeal, whatever you're all doing. I think a lot of folks got swept up in the hoopla that was that trial, and unfortunately, with the obstruction charge, a lot of folks probably made a lot of money, but you didn't, by virtue of that. But with that being said, I would agree with Mr. Lewis. I don't think this, the conduct here warrants an incarceration.
Why are you being so nice to her? Why are you saying, oh, you just got swept up in the hoopla? I don't like the apologies that are given to this woman. I don't like the way that this woman is treated so differently to the regular criminals on the street. So other people get dragged into court and they are treated like criminals, right? So no one gave Alex Murdaugh the benefit of the doubt. Nobody gave Alex Murdaugh the benefit of the doubt. Everyone just assumed that he was the bad man, and because he was a liar and he was proven to be a liar, he was a liar, therefore he killed his family. He was a liar and he stole money, therefore he did all this other stuff. No one gave him the benefit of the doubt. She did not give him the benefit of the doubt. She would not let him have a fair trial. She just wouldn't allow it to happen. And now, people like this judge, and I will say it too, Court TV, people like Julie Grant, she's been apologizing for this lady all along. Oh, well, Becky, Miss Becky, you know, this she's not so bad. She's been all this sort of apologetic kind of language about this woman because she was so sweet to them. She was so nice to the journalists when they were there. Why was she so nice? Because she had a goddamn book to promote. That's why. Right? And she seemed so harmless. Well, she had an agenda. That's why. So I've just got a big problem with the double standards.
Sentence. So on the misconduct in office, on each of those, I find should be committed to Department of Corrections for a term of 1 year, provided upon service of 1 day time served, balance be suspended with probation for 3 years. There will also be 100 hours of community service associated with one of those. I didn't put it on all the sentencing sheets because I didn't want probation to misinterpret it and give her 400 hours. On the obstruction of justice, I find should be committed to Department of Corrections for a term of 5 years. 5 unserved, 1 day time served, balance be suspended with probation for 3 years. And finally, on the perjury, offense be committed to Department of Corrections for a term of 5 years, 5 unserved, 1 day time served, balance be suspended with probation for 3 years. Good luck to you, man.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think it was a good move for her to plead guilty. It would have been very silly for her to plead not guilty. Everything was very clear at that evidentiary hearing with Justice Toll, because like I said earlier in the stream, and sorry to those people who couldn't find the stream because I had it unlisted. I'm an idiot. As I said earlier in the stream, Slade and the prosecutors, they didn't really have to do as much work as they were making out, because she got on the stand back in January 2024 and very clearly perjured herself. So the perjury was right out there. We all saw it. And as far as the evidence of her misconduct, so sending out the autopsy photos to, was the Japanese press, from memory, she admitted to that. Or she was caught out, sorry. She was caught out by Judge Toll. The evidence was just put out there in front of her. And it was all in the Becky mails. It was all in the Becky mails, which was in the public records, which was actually requested by somebody I know. And we did a whole series on the Becky mails. If you want to go have a look at the back catalogue. But it was all just out there. It was very easy to find, because as a public official, her emails were public record. And the reason she was doing all this, trying to get in the good graces of the press, was because she knew she had a book to promote. So there wasn't that much investigative work to be done. I mean, I know you have to get all of the receipts, but it was kind of all there. And she got on the stand, and Justice Toll brought it all out, and we saw it. So she would have been really, really silly to plead not guilty, because it was all really easy to prove. Like the prosecutor said, it was much harder to prove beyond a reasonable doubt jury tampering. But that doesn't mean that it won't be very obvious if Alex Murdaugh gets a new trial that she did tamper with the jury. It's just you can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's how it goes. Dali Talk. I'm impressed with her promotion skills, though. Should hire her to promote our content. Hell, I think if we remember what happened, Neil Gordon, her ghostwriter, he wasn't really a ghostwriter because he came out of nowhere. Once the allegations against Becky Hill happened, remember Neil Gordon just came out from behind the curtain and he was like, Becky Hill wouldn't do anything wrong. She's so honest. She would never lie. I have known her forever. In fact, he met her in January that year. And yeah, I'm so honored to have worked with her. And then he went and threw her under the bus around November, December. When it became, once the Becky mails were all out, then he went and threw her under the bus. Japan is where Jelly Roll and Pentel gel pens are made. Yeah, they make good stuff. Federal perjury is primarily governed by 18 U.S.C. 1621 and 1623. You're full of information, Miss Jessica, which prohibit making false statements under oath in federal proceedings. A conviction can result in a prison sentence of up to 5 years. Well, you know what? Becky's lawyer couldn't even find anything. He couldn't find any reference to anyone going to prison for perjury. And then he touched her and he's like, so, no, we can't be sending her to prison. I can't find any record of it. No. No chatter. You're welcome to your opinion, and lots of people believe he's guilty of killing his family. So I'm really open to all opinions here. But if he does deserve a new trial, he deserves a new trial. And if that's what the Supreme Court believes, then that's how it is. That's how it is. The Constitution's written for everybody, everyone, and he ain't getting out of prison. So when it comes down to it, he did commit all those financial crimes. But if there's any chance, even the slightest chance, that he didn't kill his wife and son, isn't it important that we uncover that? Even the slightest chance. Because it would be horrible to have that against your name if you didn't do it. Or even if there was someone else involved. I can imagine that too. Imagine if there's more to the story and those people have gotten away with it. It's also something to consider. Did she get 3 years probation? Did I miss that bit? Is she on an ankle monitor? I doubt it. I think there was bad history between Becky's grandpa and Alex's grandpa or something like that. I heard that he didn't ask her to prom. Oh. Dear. What's this? If he did it, he did not do it alone. There's no way he could pull that off by himself. Well, there were 2 firearms. And one of them seemed to have been shot at a really weird angle. Really weird angle. But hey, I'm an Australian. I don't know much about guns. Everything I've learned about guns comes from you guys, from Americans, from Sean, potentially criminal, and Runkle and all those guys. So, yeah. But I've learned a lot over the last few years talking to you guys. I agree. I think if the jury was tampered with or influenced, then he deserves a new trial. I personally think he's guilty. But do I know if he shot them? No. Yeah. That's a good way to be. It's a good way to be, Lindsay, I think. I'm very much of the point of view that I can always be convinced. So at the moment, I don't think he did it. But I thought that myself, having watched the whole trial myself, and just not being convinced based on only the information about the murders. I completely blacked out all of the stuff about the financial crimes, and I didn't think that should have come in. I thought that was too prejudicial. So that was for a whole different trial. So I do hope if there is another trial that the financial crimes are kept out so that the jury can focus on the events around the murders. Does that make sense? I think that it just got a bit distracting, all that stuff with the financial crimes, because he's made into the bad man and he's done bad stuff, yes. But the facts around the murders are kind of complicated. And I think the jury really needs to focus on that rather than all these other things, which are more prejudicial than probative, as they say. I served with some of the best Aussies in the military. Okay. I was in the US Army squad and we work with them in Afghanistan. Runkle is one of my friends. Oh, wow. You're very interesting, Miss Jessica. Me too, half Irish, and the jury was definitely influenced by the financial crimes. Yeah. It's hard not to be. If you sit and listen to all these bad acts by somebody over such a long period of time, how could you not be influenced by that information? That's what I thought anyway. It's my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. You know what? Not an echo chamber here. As long as you're not rude to me or rude to everybody else, you can have whatever opinion you like in here. All right. You watched it with Ricada, but that's where I met Vices. Ricada definitely believed, and Vices both believed that that he didn't do it. I remember, yeah, and Branca, and Nick Starro, who was in chat a minute ago, and David. I'm pretty sure Andrea too. Don't quote me on that last one. Definitely Sean, potentially criminal. Pretty much all the lawyers that I followed at the time. But I wasn't watching it with them though. I watched it alone. But I caught up with them all later, and they've all been on this channel talking about it since. Steve Gosney as well. They all thought that there was not enough evidence against him in the murders, and that the financial crime shouldn't have come in. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. But that's a really interesting point. It would be interesting to see the trial just as it was, and it was exhausting to even watch, and I knew extensively about the financial crimes. It made it go on for an extra 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And it is a big criticism I have of Judge Newman allowing that in. I know that as far as the prosecution was concerned, the door was opened. And of course, they're going to say the door was opened. But like I just said, it was more prejudicial than probative. Far more prejudicial. And this will be argued at appeal. So it's not just Becky Hill's tampering, alleged tampering, that will be argued at appeal. That will be argued at appeal as well. Yeah. Substantially prejudicial. Yeah. Prosecutor knew there wasn't enough evidence. That's why he brought the financial stuff in. Yeah, look, I tend to believe that the jury would have convicted anyway, because he was very not liked in the area and things like that. And they would have just used the what they had of the digital data and the kennel video to convict him. But financial crimes, that nailed it. That nailed it. So I have other thoughts about the kennel video, but save that for another day. Yeah. If you want to look, actually, in my back catalogue there is a video about the fourth voice in the kennel video. But yeah, that's probably from about 18 months ago. Very interesting stuff. You've been watching LordTubers more and more. I recommend it. I recommend it. So if you look into my playlist called Murdaugh O'Clock, you'll find lots of appearances by Steve Gosney, Sean, potentially criminal, Andrew Branca, David, who was on here just recently, Making Law Simple, Nick Starro. And we actually, I had most of those guys on for the evidentiary hearing. And we've had lots of breakdowns of the different occurrences that have occurred since the trial. And yeah, they've all provided some great commentary. So yeah, and go over to their channels and have a look at what they've had to say on it. It's definitely a different perspective if you've only been watching sort of the true crime channels, for example. In EB we trust. Alec did it. The back catalogue even has news updates on my kidney stone. Oh, I remember the kidney stone. Not as well as you did. Hey, John. EB is Eric Bland. EB. Yes, Eric Bland is a super lawyer. And he jumps in and defends all of the people who Alex Murdaugh wronged. And he does it for free because, you know, he has nothing to gain except notoriety. And here's where the whole bobblehead meme came from. Thanks for the $5, by the way. So the whole bobblehead thing is because Eric Bland made a bobblehead of himself and started to sell it. He sounds super. I don't mean to be nitpicky, but that's untrue. The financial crimes and murder charges were two separate matters, but the murder trial had to happen first. The door was simply opened. Did I miss a chat from you first? The financial crimes and murder charges were two separate matters, but the murder trial had to happen first. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. Did I say anything different? They were two separate matters, and the murder trial did have to happen first. But so what's untrue? Are you talking to somebody else, maybe? Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you. All right, cool. That's about it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. It was nice to talk about something else for a bit. Not sure if I'll be streaming tomorrow. I probably will be. Oh, that was to that Gigi lady in chat. My apologies. Character limit tricky. No problem. No problem. It's all right. Sometimes I get confused. Yeah. I probably will be streaming tomorrow because probably I will have more body cam, but it may be the day after. Keep your heavy bells on. If you're members, you may receive a little bit of information first. I don't know. Also, there's probably a member-only stream later in the week, so it probably Friday, more than likely. But yeah, love you guys all. You're awesome. What's next? I don't know. What's next? What's next? What's next? I can send you somewhere if you want. Let me see. Oh, Sean's on. I'll send you over to Sean. I will send you to Sean right now. I was just talking about Sean, so I'll send you to him right now. Give me 1 second to fix this up. He's streaming some Supreme Court arguments, which are always fun. All right, we're going. Bring your sandwiches. Bring your sandwiches, everybody, and say hello, Raid, when you get there. And now I'm going to go and actually spend some time with my child. That's not the song. Wrong song. I need Dolly here.
Her name was Ella. She was an Aussie. She was a fake lawyer from the future. She got on YouTube and made some live streams.
Also,
sometimes the words are always so loud and because she's an 803 to the attention, excited